Welcome to Bill Brunch, a daily morning show. We talk about the latest topics in pop culture. I'm Lucas Tim.
I'm Allie Colbert.
I'm Shannon Coffey.
And I'm Ariel Hickson.
Hi, everyone.
Today we're going to talk about director Quentin Tarantino's open letter to moviegoers, what millennials are saying about sex during their therapy sessions, and why it might be too late for Justin Bieber to say sorry. Plus, model Haley Khalil joins the table to talk about the 2019 Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue, but first...
It's official. Scarlett Johansson and Holland Jost are engaged. ScarJo's publicist announced Sunday night that Jost is putting a ring on it after 2 years of dating the Hollywood superstar. So, let's dive in on this.
Wow, they're engaged. I saw an Onion headline that was really funny. It was like, relationship experts still struggle to uncover what Scarlett Johansson sees in Colin Jost.
Yeah. Well, I've actually met them before as a couple, and they were cute. They were cute. Sorry, here, that was a name dropping. And Colin was very sweet. I mean, ScarJo is so talented, so beautiful, so smart. So she's a real catch. And of course, you know, he's the head writer of SNL, so... Power couple.
And they have so much chemistry on the carpet. They're just gazing
They do?
longingly into each other's eyes. Oh yeah, like every picture, every single
God,
picture
I
is
feel
just
like he's just
oh.
a piece of toast.
I can see that.
Not even whole week.
She's looking at him like, yeah, she likes him, but he's just like a Q-tip.
Right, a Q-tip.
Right? I'm just like,
Q-tip.
I don't know. We've talked about them before, but not crazy about him.
No, I totally forgot that she was married to Ryan Reynolds, and I
me
didn't know
too.
she had a child.
Me too, I forgot about that.
She has a child?
I think
Yeah.
she has a daughter,
Little
a
girl.
5-year-old daughter, and I'm like, that's so cool. Like,
I know.
just like focus on her career and her work, and that's awesome. I'm like, once again, like celebrities, if you want to keep your personal life private, you can.
Yeah, wow.
Exactly.
Wait,
Yeah.
where's her baby?
Who
That's-
knows?
At the,
That's great.
the house in Beverly Hills, who knows?
Wow, I don't think I've seen one photo of her
Not
out
one.
with her daughter.
Yeah, I had to Google them, and I found some, but literally, like, it's...
That
Like,
is
really
so true. You
interesting.
really can try to keep it private, and she's someone who, like, I think has done a good job. She's an actress in literally the biggest film ever. Yet she's not really like a celebrity in the sense, because like in the sense of selling stories to the press, being on the cover of People magazine, doing press stuff, because she like wants to keep part of her life private.
Yeah.
It seems that way.
Yeah.
I think that's a cool thing now too, to kind of keep your life a little bit private.
The Beyonce effect.
Yes, the Beyonce effect. Like I'm
Yeah.
gonna release something later, and then you guys are gonna be freaking out because you haven't seen anything.
Right.
Right.
That's what she's doing.
But I think this also shows us like how in the last like 5 or so years, these SNL cast members are like transitioning into bigger celebrities than they ever were before. Like growing up, I loved watching SNL, but it wasn't that they were like mega stars.
No.
You know, and that's like, I don't know, it's a weird thing, like especially when we have Pete Davidson on like Weekend Update talking about his personal life. Like the players, the cast members have never done that.
It's disappointing because like when Tina Fey broke big really when she got 30 Rock was really for her work, you know, and that's what I love seeing, especially for the woman, the first female head writer, to like become a star because 30 Rock was just so good.
Yeah.
So it is different now. You're seeing with Pete and Colin, it's basically because of who the women they're dating and their personal lives are becoming more interesting, and that's something we've never saw with SNL before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like usually with the SNL actors, it takes about a couple movies later. You know, like Adam Sandler, okay, like later, like a couple movies later, like, oh, he's so popular. But before, probably while he was on there, you weren't really thinking much of him.
Yeah, a lot of them they'll wait until after their time on the show to actually pop.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
And we realized they have that 7-year contract that a lot of them keep. So they have to be on there for 7 years, and then so they can't do anything else really until Lauren lets them go.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
All right, well, that makes
Anyway, kudos to the happy couple. Quentin Tarantino is taking a page out of the Endgame filmmaker's book by pleading to audiences not to spoil his upcoming flick, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. The director took to Twitter to post a letter urging moviegoers not to leak details about the film in advance, as its world premiere comes 2 months before its theatrical release.
Spoilers are definitely like a different game now. Like it's really like I do so much as to like not go on certain apps when I'm watching a TV show I like, so that I don't have to, you know, have the ending ruined for me.
Right.
Like I know people, if you didn't watch Game of Thrones on Sunday, you weren't going online.
Yeah.
I agree, especially with people watching it in the office the next day. If you haven't watched Game of Thrones or any other show, you don't want to go in the next day because everyone's gonna be talking.
Oh,
about
Yeah,
that's-
you're screwed.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like a lot of pressure. It's anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially with, because Endgame, you know, they literally, which was really clever, made a whole marketing campaign of like hashtag don't spoil the Endgame or whatever they did. So that was a kind of a cool way to try to make it hip to not spoil things.
Yeah.
But I think we also are entering this culture of like people just have to be good moral people to not spoil things. Because there's that famous video when there's these people lined out to get the next Harry Potter book, and again, someone's always like, Snape kills Dumbledore on page 200 whatever, and like that I think was the beginning.
That
People,
is horrible.
horrific.
I've never seen that.
Oh, it's horrific.
It's
If
so
people
bad.
are monsters. But this is, I think, as what I see from Quentin Tarantino, who is problematic, but he's an artist, and he's saying like, please let people enjoy my film. Because, with Glorious Bastards, they kill Hitler at the end. I think this one, which is about Charles Manson, they could, you never know what could happen in this film.
I have to say, he obviously is like problematic, especially the stuff I heard about Uma Thurman's recount of working with him. But I really like the way he like plays with history. That's just so fun. Like, why don't we see that more?
Historical fiction's a fun genre.
But just totally flipping the narrative on its head.
Right.
Like, instead of just like giving us fun like sex stories between Anne Boleyn and Stephen King.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
But just like, Hitler died.
Yeah.
Like, that's amazing. Like, he keeps rewriting history in these really fun ways. I wish more people did it that were good people.
Right.
Have you ever been really spoiled that it actually has ruined a movie or a TV show for you? Has anyone actually experienced a spoiler that really got them? Because usually I think I'm being spoiled, and then I watch it and I'm like, oh, that was actually a fake out spoiler.
I mean, he ruined World War II for me.
Allie didn't know.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. A spoiler that really ruined it.
I feel like
like The Sixth Sense. That's an easy
you're
thing to
spoiled for that?
spoil. Someone spoiled that for me, and I was like, oh, okay. So
my mom.
They told you he sees dead people?
they told me that at the end he's dead all along.
Oh, no, that would ruin it, because that's a little Easter egg at the end of the movie.
Right.
Oh yeah, I think it's a bit more
whole
than an
time.
Easter egg.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Little Easter egg.
My mom definitely
That's
spoils.
the whole egg. Egg girl.
Egg girl. On brand. My mom has spoiled things to me, and that's not her fault. She just loves
Your
talking.
childhood?
And my child, she spoiled my child.
She's
No,
ruined that for
no,
me.
she's the reason why I'm still here. But we often talk about TV shows, and I'm like, I didn't watch it yet, Mom. And she's like, I just caught up to Barry, and at the end, he kills the guy. I'm like, what the hell, Mom? I just told you I didn't watch it. Why?
Wait, did you just spoil it?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
But I was like, she's like, and she just jumped into the TV show, and she's just talking because after Game of Thrones, she watched Barry, and I was like, Mom, stop.
Yeah, actually, Brittany I know Brittany's not here, but I'm pointing to you because that's where she sits. Brittany spoils a lot of stuff for me.
Oh, really?
Because she doesn't mean to, but she'll be like,
She's so excited.
she'll reflect on something and she'll be like, yeah, that was a fun little storyline they did. And I'm like, oh, well, the way you just said that implies that this, and I will overanalyze and think about it.
Yeah,
Right.
she gets screeners, so you have to watch out for Brittany,
Yes.
She's watching, stay away from me. She's tries to talk about killing Eve, and I'm like,
We're talking about her now.
oh, there she is. Yeah, I'm like, see, she's trying to spoil killing Eve for us right now. Oh my God, look at her.
And she'll be
she's so
like,
beautiful.
she'll be like, oh, did you get to this episode yet? And then she'll be like, just wait. And it hints at something. And it's like, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Well, going off that, I think it's just impossible to not spoil something. I think if trying to not spoil something is like something you can do 30 years ago. Because
Right.
We got internet, we got Facebook, Twitter, we got streaming services. I mean, something's bound to get out at some point.
Totally.
But back in the day, didn't you have to spoil something to get the word out? You gotta wait for this big scene where this guy gets murdered.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, how did they even talk about stuff back in the day? I wouldn't go see any movies because I'd be like, where's the hype?
Right, I see what you're saying. That's kind of like the word of mouth press.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel it. I don't know. We still have a bit of that now.
Yeah, a little
definitely.
bit.
A little bit. Well, you guys, a new HuffPost article sheds some light on the topics millennials discuss in therapy when talking about sex. Whether they're single or in a relationship, millennial clients cover a range of topics with their therapists, from not receiving a proper sex education to different levels of sex drives and more. Let's break it down. I thought it was interesting to hear a lot of the things millennials talk about in sex. I also think it's funny the way we keep talking about millennials. It's like we're all 40 now.
I know.
Yeah. And we're just millennial little bitches, and it's like we're all in government.
Yeah.
It's really weird. I feel like every media company is like, we gotta be young. Let's speak to the millennials. Hey, millennials.
Right.
And you're like, Jesus, I want to tune out, and I'm 45. I can't stand it. It's such bad.
It's like millennials only read Hello Giggles or what. I'm like, no, I read the New York Times.
Yeah.
Like, why
Exactly. Not youngins.
It's over.
Gen Z is a new millennial, I think, in their head.
Yeah,
Right.
Gen
In their
Z.
head.
Gen Z's the what years is that?
I don't know, the
Okay, yeah.
2000s. There we go.
Anyway,
Aging myself.
This article is interesting, just pointing out, I think, more just human nature and how sex how we deal with sex and the other emotions that come with it. And of course, we spoke about on the show that smartphones to the overwatching porn, how that can affect people. I think it was more interesting hearing millennials' perspectives on being in a relationship with someone, having different sex drives. I think if you've been in a relationship with someone, you kind of learn that when the honeymoon phase is over, like where everyone's at and how some take it more personally, learning other people's love languages. That was kind of interesting from millennial perspective.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that like it's very interesting to examine relationships in an age where like technology is just so overwhelming, because I think millennials are really hard on themselves when it comes to like, there's so many different avenues to kind of like express your, whether you're being faithful or unfaithful, and it's like, oh, well, if you liked this, it means you're interested in that, or if you're following these people, or if you message these people, and all of these like micro sort of cheating scenarios that millennials either feel guilty for or engage in. And at the end of the day, like, it's natural to be attracted to people. It's natural to meet interesting people and talk to them. It's natural to fuck with people that are not, no, I'm joking. But like, people need to be not so hard on themselves, I think, at the end of the day. And I don't know. Does anyone feel anything?
Going off that as well, I just think that the perception is totally off. People just think that because millennials are young, they might be just having sex all the time, every day. That's not necessarily the norm. And also social media makes it seem like everyone's in these perfect relationships where they're so lovey-dovey, when every single day, maybe it's not like that. You know, the norm is more chill. You have to take the anxiety out of it and relax. You know?
Yeah, I think that definitely adds to the stress people feel in their relationships with like sexual
Well, like if you're not
topics,
having
things
sex,
like
you're
that.
not having sex enough, because I heard my friend Jessica has sex 8 times a week or whatever.
She posts it.
Whoa,
She
Jessica.
posts it,
streams
and
it.
she live streams it, and she has 10,000 followers. Why don't we do that? I'm like, well, because I'm a private person.
Yeah, it's hard.
I'm always
hard.
trying to live stream sex on this show, but you guys just never give in.
I know.
I mean, it's your first date, so maybe you will. I don't know.
Yeah, you have to keep talking about it.
Right. I also
It's
think,
tough. Like, you want to feel good, but then Cardi B posts a pic of her pussy.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know how I feel anymore.
it's like I can't do that. I wouldn't. No one like my.
I don't have a
I would
pussy.
love to see
I don't
your
have a
pussy.
Oh, thanks, Shannon. No, not so sweet.
of course.
Well, maybe one day I'll help. You know, I work on the confidence stuff. And this article mentions a lot of people have performance anxiety because they don't feel like they're good at sex or good at kissing or good. And I also feel like, you know, let your freak flag fly. I think people are too hard, what you were saying, too hard on themselves, especially when it comes into that like intimate situation. Like, don't be embarrassed.
Yeah, it also sometimes takes time to like learn someone specifically, like especially if you're like having like a lot of one night stands.
Yes.
I feel like you're not gonna be good at sex.
Oh, 100% agree. I think when you're in a relationship, when you're with someone, that's when you actually get good at sex.
Yeah.
Because you figure out how to kiss someone.
He's
how
just
to,
like locked into his memories, I feel like.
like, anyway.
Of course, when you.
when you are in a relationship, you get good at sex.
I feel like people who are online dating, it's hard too, because you're just swiping. You might not feel a connection, so therefore it's hard to like build those connections and feel comfortable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get intimate.
Yeah.
Well, in other news, a canyon in Iceland has been closed to visitors because it can't sustain any more guests. And Justin Bieber is the reason. The singer's 2015 music video for I'll Show You has led fans to explore the site in epic numbers, and the canyon's fragile vegetation can't take the foot traffic. Wow, rest in peace, the planet.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we have pop music, though.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm happy for it.
That canyon does look beautiful.
Does look beautiful.
My thought was, wow, where is it? I would love to go. So
Yeah.
people thought like me, and now we're dying.
Well, the video just felt like a big advertisement for the canyon. You didn't really see his face even.
I said that's
Yes,
Lucas.
Alex said
Like,
exactly.
I didn't see his face at all.
It's literally just
He's just walking around in sweat.
It's a white boy.
Ads, though, you get to see him in his underwear at the
Yeah,
end.
that was fun.
yeah.
Can,
That's
doesn't he?
cute. I like
Does he
it.
have a bathing suit? This man is
it
in
looks like
bodies
white
of water
pelvis.
with white undies on. Get a bathing suit. I can send you one, Justin Bieber.
No, Taylor Swift shaves every day, and Justin Bieber can't afford a bathing suit. Things are weird, you guys.
Look
Things
what
are
he's
weird.
wearing.
It's
Yeah.
just like.
That's what you're gonna wear?
Oh,
Do you
yeah.
imagine if any female pop star did this video? They would be laughed off in their careers, just wearing sweatpants, running through the grass. Are you kidding me? Oh, I hate the double standard of society.
Show us your pussy.
Woo! Anyway, yeah, I want to go to Iceland though.
I want to go to. Have
Me
any of
too.
you been?
No, I really want to go.
Good. I was just scratching my nose and the camera cut to me.
Yeah.
I was like, have you guys been?
Do you guys all remember when you learned that Iceland was green and Greenland was ice?
Yeah.
Remember
yeah,
that?
I always
Fucked
remember
me up
that.
when I was a kid.
Did you know that Greenland's not its own country? It's a part of Denmark?
Oh no.
Shout out to Ivan Lustig. You taught me that this past weekend.
Congrats.
You know what
That's
would
my
work?
girlfriend's dad.
Oh, I was
You know
like,
what
who
would
is
work
he?
though if you find a place that just has no tourism, there's no one there and they need it. That's what
Right.
celebrities should do. They should find like some random spot in New Jersey and run through
Yeah.
and be like,
God.
all right,
Yeah.
this is it. Like, I don't know.
Well,
Like
maybe
the
Bieber
trend
can
dude.
save Atlantic City. I mean, he could really pump that up.
Oh
'cause,
God, Atlantic City's horrible.
Trump destroyed it. It's the truth. Yeah. Does any film? Oh, I mean, this is a nerd. I've said this before. On my bucket list, I do want to go to New Zealand. That is like
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings, the filming location. Like, and also I'd go to Game of Thrones and Scotland and Croatia. Like, I would. Those are TV shows and movies. It's not like a music video that place I'd want to go, but
Yeah, those are the most epic places. I completely agree with you.
right
Yeah,
What
I want to go
other-
to Madagascar, but it's so hard to travel
For the cartoon?
there.
for the cartoon.
Cartoon, yeah.
Is the lion gonna
Definitely.
be
Have
there?
you seen him? He's
Right.
hot. Seriously.
Yeah.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
I definitely want to date a lemur. But it's so hard to travel Madagascar by yourself, and they do these big groups, but apparently it's like a lot of old people. So I don't, and it's like a very slow going. Like I heavily researched it, and you can't.
Wait, why?
I don't know.
And also, why do you want to go there?
For the lemurs.
The lemurs.
Oh,
Yeah.
Specific.
No, I like love lemurs. They're one of my favorites.
my sister loves lemurs too. Are those the ones that throw themselves off the cliff every 7 years?
Oh, are they?
Wow, this
Oh,
is dark
that would
lemurs.
explain a
Oh,
lot.
lemmings.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
You know lemmings, every 7 years they just run off the cliff. No, seriously, do
Are
you know
they
what I'm
wing
talking about?
sitting? Do they live
You guys
there?
listen to me.
Maybe
You know,
they
you know what it means when you're called a lemming?
Yeah.
There's a lemming, it's an animal, and every like 7 years, the entire herd of lemmings just runs off a cliff and kills themselves. And my English teacher would always tell us in class, don't be a lemming, meaning like don't just...
I never knew. Oh
That's
my
great.
God.
Just changing
That's
everything.
what
Maybe
their
they-
entire group does.
Maybe
Now
they
look at
figured
you
it
taking
out.
on your girlfriend's dad role, like sharing the knowledge. You were so inspired by him. I can't wait to meet this man.
Oh my God.
That's
Anyways.
amazing.
I know.
Lemmings.
They all kill themselves.
They all kill
Mass
themselves.
suicide.
Exactly.
Look at this.
They haven't figured it out.
Wow, I've never, I just perked all you guys up so much.
did.
Yeah,
Honestly, this should be the show.
Fact.
Right.
Like comedians sharing interesting facts. Honestly, like
About
I would watch
animals.
that.
Let's do it. Well, you guys, now it's time for today's guest. Model Haley Khalil made a splash when she was featured in the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition as a contestant in the 2018 model search. Now she's been named a Sports Illustrated swimsuit rookie and is featured in the 2019 issue. Take a look. Here to tell us more is Haley Khalil. Hey, what's up, guys? Hey. So thanks for being here.
Yeah, of course.
Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue just came out, and you were named as Rookie of the Year.
Was I?
Yes. So how does that feel?
Well, it feels amazing.
I was like, was she? I don't know.
oh, wait.
Now I'm like, wait.
Let's check the cards. No, it feels amazing to be a rookie. I was not a model before all this happened. I was actually working in an immunology lab. So my life
I don't even know what
went
that word means.
I don't know, that was
Yeah.
hot.
the study of immunity. So you study diseases in a lab, seeing how they affect the human body. And now look at me, I'm on a beach wearing
So
bikinis.
wait, were you? I'm just curious. Were you like patient facing when you were in the lab?
I was, so yes.
Because you
I would-
probably like freaked out a lot of patients because you're so hot.
Girl, I did not look like this in the lab. It was no makeup. It was like a bun on the top of your head.
I'm sure people were very nervous to get their test results from you for many reasons. What was your reaction when, coming from that field when you first heard you were a rookie?
Well, going through the entire process of the Sports Illustrated swim search, I was clueless. I mean, I had never modeled before. I'd done like senior photos. You do like the cute little photo shoots with your friends that have cameras. And then when you step in front of Yutsai, who's a world-renowned photographer, you're in a swimsuit and you're in front of the entire SI swimsuit family. You're like, please don't fuck this up. This is not gonna be good. But it's definitely been a learning process, just like anything. Like when you're studying for a test, this was studying for the test of being in Sports Illustrated swimsuits. So I'm very thankful to be here today, and there was a lot of awkward photos in between all the good ones that they're showing.
And what does that mean to be Rookie of the Year?
It's really such an honor because it means that you brought something to Sports Illustrated swimsuit this year. It's them saying that we want you here and you're here for a reason, and hopefully, fingers crossed, they want me back.
Yeah, that's great. And your husband, Matt, plays for the Houston Texans.
He does,
So
yes.
was he so excited?
Okay, so
And the team?
I'm interested to see what his perspective is.
well, initially, I mean, he married me when I was working in a lab. So he married the woman that was in the lab coat with the no makeup. And then when he started seeing me in this world, he was like, dang, like, that's my wife.
Right.
And he didn't know you were hot before?
Was this kind of like the smart girl takes off the glasses and she's a hot? I was like,
You should see photos of me when I was like 16, 17.
Oh my
I
God.
had the transition lenses. I had like a straight up bowl cut.
Wow.
Oh,
I
it
would
was-
love to see you in a bowl cut. I
a good
actually
look.
think would still be hot.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I'm thinking of going back to it. I think
please
it'd be
do.
hot.
Do
you know?
it.
Oh God, no.
So he fell for your brains first. That's a beautiful thing.
I'd like to think that. I hope that's the case. But yeah, I mean, he never saw me as a model. So then when he started seeing me as a model,
Oh my
at first
God,
he was a
that's
little
hilarious.
like, what is happening to my wife? And now he's like, I want the biggest blown up photo of you in my office, like in the skimpiest bikini I can find. I mean, he's so supportive, and I'm so grateful to have him in my life.
That is so awesome.
And what was like shooting the rookie spread in Kenya this year?
Kenya is unbelievable.
I've been there. It's an incredible country.
It's amazing. So when MJ, who's the editor of Sports Illustrated Swimsuit, told me I was going to Kenya,
Right.
I'm really good at science, not great at geography. So I was like, oh, safari. We're going to be on,
Right.
on the plains of Africa. And then she's like, no, you're shooting on the beach. I'm like, Kenya has beaches? I didn't know that. The second we got there, it was gorgeous. Some of the most beautiful beaches I've ever seen in my entire life. And I would go back in a heartbeat.
Right.
People were great and the food was amazing.
It is really good. And you mentioned Yusai, the photographer. He shot you last year in Belize, right?
He
and
did.
again this year in Kenya. Is it easier working with a photographer again for a second time? Do you feel more comfortable?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The first year that I shot for Sports Illustrated Swimsuit, I was shaking the entire first couple of bikinis.
Right.
I mean, you're like, I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't know what to do with my body. I don't know how to make this look natural.
Yeah.
And he helped me through it. He really did, because I was clueless. So then the second year, when you're used to shooting with a photographer, you kind of know his style, you know how he coaches you through the moves. And from there on out, it just felt comfortable. It was more like a dance instead of me just awkwardly like, is this look good? Is this the right angle?
Right.
Well, on that note, see, if you follow me on Instagram, you know I am a thirsty person. I love posting a thirst trap. And beach season is coming up. I always feel awkward when I'm taking the shirtless bathing suit pic, though I know it looks like it's such a natural. Do you have any tips for me to, like, when posing? Like, do I, like, accentuate, like, my butt? Do I, like, chest? I've been told I have a good chest.
Yeah.
You do. Look at those pecs. Those are nice. You got to
Thank you.
show them off. You got to know what, know your angles. That's
Okay.
really what it's all about, is knowing what angle looks good on you. Because between all of these like good photos that they publish, there are so many awkward ones. I'm not going to lie. There's like one where your eye is closed and one where like you have waves in your face. You just take 150 photos.
Right.
Find the one that you like and post that one.
Okay, I will do that.
That's all you got to do.
Wow,
How do
I
you
can't
make-
wait to see that feed.
How do you make it look like you're not trying too hard?
Oh my
Somebody
God.
wants to know.
I am the wrong person to ask, because the entire time I'm thinking in my head, don't look awkward. Like, please, Haley, do not look awkward. So you just have to relax. I think that's the biggest thing, is the second you relax and just start enjoying yourself and being in the moment, the photos start to look better. And then you don't look like you're trying, because you're not trying. You're just kind of enjoying being in Africa, being around an amazing group of people, and just being in the water.
I love that. And this all started because you went to an open casting call.
Yes.
So, like, how did you find out about it? And, like, when you started, were you like, I don't know how to, like you said, you don't know how to hold your hands. Like,
Yes.
how do you go into it and book it? And now you're like, The hottest.
Well, thank you. No, again, it's a learning process. So what Sports Illustrated Swimsuit did is it was their first year, they held an open casting call. So you could submit a 60-second video on Instagram, of all things, just telling people why you wanted to be a part of the magazine. So I was sitting getting ready for a girlfriend's wedding, and I saw that they were doing this, and I put my phone on selfie mode, and I just recorded a video. And I submitted it, and I thought, you know, now it's in their hands. If they want me, they want me. If not, you know, at least I tried. And when they contacted me, I about lost my mind.
Oh my God.
Like, there's no way this is real. And then I saw the blue check mark on their Instagram, and I'm like, it's real. I can't believe this. And
I love that.
from there on out, it's just been 2 amazing years that have completely changed my life, and I'm so grateful for it.
That's so cool. And as you mentioned, you studied biomedical sciences.
Yes.
So, I mean, where do you think you'd be if you weren't, you know, now this like supermodel? But also, do you think maybe there's a future where you're mixing, you know, bikinis and science? Like maybe you're in the lab. Like, I don't know, I'd watch.
Oh, well, thank you. No, absolutely. I mean, I was studying for my MCAT, so I was preparing to go to medical school. My best friend and I actually were on the exact same track, and she just graduated from medical school. So it's interesting to see where she is now and where I am now, but I would love to go back.
She's like that supermodel bitch.
She's like, I hate her.
So she's watching right now being like,
She'll like post my pictures and laugh at them. So she did this series on her Instagram of like my Sports Illustrated swimsuit photos and her recreating them.
Oh, I love
and they were my favorite photos I've ever seen her. She's like awkwardly like in a bikini like, hey, what's up? No, I would love to go back to the sciences. I absolutely love the sciences, and there's no reason why you can't mix a little bit of this with a little bit of that.
well, especially this edition of Sports Illustrated we've spoken about is the most diverse in history, celebrating women of all shapes and sizes and colors, and so and you also being in this whole intellectual science background is really pushing Sports Illustrated into a future.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that what Sports Illustrated Swimsuit has always done is they're trying to push models as personalities and as people, because that's what we are. We're just people. So back in the day, Sports Illustrated was actually one of the first to name their models.
Right.
So they would put the name, it was Tyra Banks. It wasn't just Model 1, Model 2, Model 3. And now they're just trying to carry on with that tradition and saying, this is a 55-year-old and she looks amazing in a bikini.
Love that.
Or, you know, this is a girl who was in the sciences, and just because she's smart does not mean she can also look good in a bikini.
Right.
Like
Right.
it's all these things, and it's just people owning their bodies and owning who they are, and it's so beautiful to see it right in front of you on print.
That's great.
Yeah, and do you have any advice for, you know, young girls out there who they want to be on the cover of a magazine too?
Well, you just gotta keep trying. When I was 17, I remember I went to a modeling agency because just like many girls, I watched like America's Next Top Model, and I was like, I can do that. And I walk into this agency and they tell me I'm too short and I'm too big. And so I thought, you know what? If they want me to change who I am to do something, I'm not gonna do it. And that's when I focused on academics.
Right.
So you're gonna hear a lot of no's in this industry, like more than you'll ever wanna hear in your life. But you just have to wait for the one yes. So if somebody out there looks at you and goes, you know what, I'm gonna give you a chance, it will happen, and just wait for that yes, because it's out there.
And do you ever still get nervous for shoots? I mean, last year in Belize was the first one. I mean, are you more relaxed now when you go out there?
You know, you're never really super relaxed because there's a camera in your face. You guys know. I mean, look at all these cameras.
I don't know. I've said some stupid things in this show because I'm so relaxed.
Haven't we all?
Smoking a cig.
We're
and thinking, it's
canceled,
like,
yeah.
oh.
Teach me your ways. I need to know like the relaxed on set, like holding a cigarette, like let's go guys, come on. No, I mean I'm always gonna be super nervous just because it's not really what I ever saw my life going towards. And when you're used to not having that sort of set, it's always hard to get used to it. So I'll always be the one on set that's shaking the first couple photos. Sure. And then after that, when you're around, you know, your friends and you learn who these people are and the photographer, then you're like, I'm good, I'm fine. These photos are gonna be great. But before that, yeah, I'm always nervous, of course.
And what's happening in the near future?
You know, I would love, again, to shoot for Sports Illustrated Swimsuit. They are like a family to me. They really are some of the best people in this industry that I've ever met. I have bucket list clients that I would love to shoot with.
Oh, let's hear.
Pantene, girl, because I'm a redhead. I'm like, I want to do that thing where your hair, like, you get out of the cab and it's just like bouncing. And you're like, Hey, I would love to do that. CoverGirl's on my list. I've worked with Maybelline. They were incredible. I love Forever 21. That's where I get all my stuff.
Yes.
I'm not going to spend a bunch of money on a shirt. So I'd love to work with them. Just they can pay me in clothes. Like, just give me a bunch of
They
clothes.
would probably kill to
Yes.
work with you. Just clip this out and send it to them.
Right.
I'm sure they're gonna just like show up at your house and be like, please.
That would be great. Just show up with a box of like leggings and crop tops, and I'm sold.
Yeah,
I'll
you
work
got
with them
it.
in a heartbeat.
Well,
Ready?
we're excited to see everything you continue to do. You're awesome. Haley, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
You can pick up your very own copy of this year's Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue on newsstands today. And thanks to Ariel for co-hosting. That's all from us. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same table.